Tuesday, July 18th. Ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? Welcome to yet another edition of Don Mafia Live. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. I'm not sure about you. Bruce Nolan on Twitter put something out a bit earlier today, and it made me laugh because I feel like that there's he demonstrated this, and I agreed with it, but there's four different time frames where us football fans decide to put out the fact football is back, man. Football is back, right? It starts off with rookie minicamp. I'm definitely guilty of it, where I'm just absolutely thrilled that we're getting some sort of actual, tangible, football coverage, football news. And then it's when rookies arrive to actual training camp, which is today. Let's celebrate. Let's celebrate, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. And then the Buffalo Bills regular training camp officially starts on the 26th. Veterans report on the 25th. And then afterwards, there's just preseason. Football is back, and then regular season football is back. I know that it's just a little tease, but it's something, right? It's something to overall discuss today. And I mean, you did read the title correctly. We're just celebrating today. All football is back. Maybe have a little conversation about some reasonable expectations we have for rookies, and then also some of the free agents that are arriving as well today, so they can get familiar with our overall system. Already saw a bunch of really great questions in the live chat already. This is going to be a call-in show here. I'll probably start that in about 10 to 15 minutes. I just want to go on ahead and say hello to everybody, go through the live chat, and just sort of give you my overall takes of, first off, my absolute pure excitement that training camp literally is officially starting in just a little bit of time. Rookies are here. Things are looking good, especially at a highly anticipated season, because I feel like everyone on earth has been writing us off. And then this is where we start to get a really good look on some of the new additions that we have made to this team, because it's super easy, right? It's super easy for us to go out there and say, hey, this roster is a hell of a lot better than what we had last year. I believe that. I believe that wholeheartedly, that I think that this is a way better, well, I mean, maybe not way better, but slightly better than what we had last year. But we're not going to be able to figure that out truly until we start seeing some fully padded practices, some preseason. And I'm absolutely thrilled. I'm thrilled to see how some of these depth players are going to translate into this offense. Some of our free agents are rookies. And so many people hate on the preseason. I know a lot of football fans literally wait up until week one. Me, I'm obsessed with preseason because I want to see what our depth looks like. I want to see a camp sweetheart become a feel-good story of somebody actually rolling on in and actually being able to make this team. So I am thrilled, super glad that everyone is able to join me this morning. Definitely sorry about yesterday for Bill's Mafia Happy Hour. I had to take it off of the calendar. I am going to make it up to you guys, though. I am going to do a Friday show, because now that training camp is here, it's official. Happy hour is Monday through Friday from now on. My girl was out of town. She was visiting family, and she came back. So I figured that since this is realistically the last week where it's technically my off season, as far as really going in and being as consistent as possible with my live streams, with my pre-recorded videos, with my shorts, wanted to go on ahead and sort of spend as much time with her as humanly possible, because as far as me going over to her house, that's going to be a change. She's going to have to come over here, hang out until after I'm done with my stuff, and go from there. But you know what? She knows what she signed up for, right? Football season, and we have things to talk about, man. You guys have me until I'd say after the Super Bowl. I promised myself that I'm going balls to the wall from training camp all the way until after the Super Bowl. And then maybe I'll take a month off in March or something, do the whole travel, vacation, and do my thing, and take some time off after that. But this is it, y'all. This is the stretch. We have a lot of questions that need to be answered. And there's a lot of things that need to be addressed. And this is exactly what it is. And I love it. Chris 716 coming in saying, let's go, Buffalo. Absolutely. Chris 716. What's up, Dan? Living the dream, man. Mark, what's going on, man? Hope all is well. Mark, he rolls in with a great question. He says, training camp for rookies and free agents. who is a sleeper that you were focusing on? I really, really want to see what Shane Ray can do, right? I know that we ended up picking up Leonard Floyd, and I hate to be that guy that falls in love with a camp sweetheart, right? Like, I obviously love the guy's story. And so he was on the opposite end of the line with Von Miller back in the Denver Broncos Super Bowl days, and he ended up killing it up in the CFL. I really want to see what he can do. I think based off of what I believe, without obviously seeing any padded practices or preseason games, I'm hoping that he does make the team, because I think that if he can even demonstrate slightly what he did up in the CFL before he came back to the NFL this offseason, I think that he might be an actual really good sleeper pick for us this year as well to make this 53-man roster. It's not going to be easy, but we'll see. Keith Stewart, good morning, Dan the Man. Hope you are having a great morning. Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much. You as well. We got Melissa Stage coming in saying, hey, Dan, go Bills. Mario Williams standing out. Good afternoon, everybody. Buffalo Snowy 7 rolling on in from across the pond. My boy. Spears Bills Talk's excited. Football, baby, football. That's how it works out, man. That's how it works out. Head Start. Sadly can't go since busy. I think you're talking about training camp, man. I know. Listen, I would absolutely love to be there. Would absolutely love to be able to watch a couple of practices over at St. John Fisher's. Or, I mean, even the Red-Blue game would be absolutely great. But my first live football action is going to be week 1 against the New York Jets. Or the New Jersey Jets, excuse me. But no, man, you and I share the exact same thing. And so I watch all the preseason that I can. I think it's important, right? Like people that truly, truly love football and they want to be able to give some sort of reasonable takes throughout the season. I feel like it's definitely important because, first off, it definitely alleviates a lot of anxiety, or it creates more, okay? Because that's really the only time you ever get to see what your depth can actually do, what your rookies can actually do. So that's 9 times out of 10 why I do it. Like, that's why I watch the preseason for that. I'm ready for football. Ashton Luck, you and me both, my guy. You and me both. Wish joint practice was televised, but I get it. Yeah, normally we'll just be getting a bunch of Twitter clips and everything like that. Don't be sorry. It's life. Keith Stewart. Hey, man, listen, I made a commitment to myself and to you guys, and I got to live up to it, man. It's just how it works out. Dan, we have the same defense returning besides Edmonds. Do you see this Defy taking a step forward or backwards? I really see it being slightly better for a variety of reasons. Number one, we finally have a healthy secondary. Okay. Let's definitely hope that Poyer and Hyde are back to what we are used to. If not, I'm very happy with the Taylor Rapp signing as well. I think that he is probably like the biggest insurance piece from a safety depth perspective. Last year, we really didn't have a lot of safety depth, right? We didn't at all. Then with Trey White coming back, he finally had a full off season to relax right after coming off of his short season from his ACL injury. Really hoping that man has a chip on his shoulder. I'm really hoping that Trey White has a chip on his shoulder. And then obviously with that CB2 competition, whether or not that it's going to be Elam or whether or not that it's going to be Benford, I love our secondary. I think with Edmonds being gone, I think that we're probably going to have to switch up some scheme. Probably going to have to be doing a little bit differently on the overall coverage schemes. Maybe some more cover 1, some cover 3 to sort of take away from what Edmonds did put out there for us, but still be just and equally as effective. So I'm not nervous about Edmonds being gone. I'm very high on Dotson. Say that I'm a gambling man. I'm thinking that Dotson is probably going to end up taking over that position. I really, really am. And I'm also thinking that AJ Klein might be one of the cuts, right? I'm thinking that AJ Klein might be one of the cuts. As we slowly but surely start putting people down and getting to that final 53-man roster. Absolutely love it. It's here. It's here. Football season is finally here. Dante Jackson. Where are we at, dude? Mark says, morning, Spears. Absolutely, Spears. Good morning, man. Good morning. Also, and so are you ready for the fantasy season? Yes, indeed I am, my friend. I have done about 2 or 3 mock drafts already. I'm probably going to do a couple of more today. I am absolutely thrilled. this year, me and my buddies are actually doing like an actual draft where we all meet up and like we're doing that parody thing where there's going to be a podium and it's going to be a blast, man. I love fantasy football. Definitely a great way for me and some old college friends to get back together and sort of hang out. And so after last year's deadly blizzard, I'm not ready for winter, but I'm damn sure ready for football. I feel like it's a give or take, right? And so I feel like it's a give or take. I feel like football season is always something that gets us through those miserable months, right? I can definitely relate to that, man. I could definitely relate to that. Zero excuses this year. As long as we don't get hit with the injury bug again, let's go Buffalo. I thought that it was completely out of left field because I feel like before that, I feel like the Bills actually did a pretty good job staying healthy for the most part. I mean, obviously that year before when Trey went down during Thanksgiving, other than that, I mean, we stayed realistically okay. I mean, obviously outside of the offensive line, which always tends to have its mishaps. Last year was an outlier for me. So I'm hoping that we can get back to our times where we would just like, and so we tune in right to a Buffalo Bills game, week 13, week 14, and we are just completely dumbfounded by the fact where we say, damn, this team is still absolutely as healthy as humanly possible. It's crazy. Is there a press conference or clips? Not that I know of. I haven't heard that there was going to be any sort of press conference since rookies came in. I think they're saving that for when training camp officially starts, right before first practice. I'm still looking over Twitter from some of the main media heads, but I don't believe that there's going to be anything like that. Linda, what's going on? Hey, Dan, good morning. So glad the Diop fantasy is over. Excited to see what Dorian Williams does. You and me both. I'm just personally glad that I don't need to do another stream that has been surrounded by DeAndre Hopkins. I'm pretty sure that I like had to have made close to like 10 plus streams with that man's name in the title. And at first I was like, okay, this is like hot news. I know that everyone wants to talk about it. But then after a while, I just started getting frustrated from seeing like this new rumor that came out. But I mean, really, at the end of the day, that's what everybody wanted to talk about. And I'm glad that he signed with the Titans. He chased the bag. He's going to have a terrible quarterback throwing him the ball with an offense that's surrounded by Derrick Henry. But hey, man, you know what? Happy for him. Super glad that he was able to make that money when he could. Bobby HZ, what's up? What's up, man? Living the dream, man. It's Tuesday. No complaints here. Looking forward to see if Hardy is going to be starting slot. He's fast enough. And I mean, I know that a lot of people like Shakir. I really do. I hope that he has taken a step up, right, from last year. And yes, he did have like his share of highlight plays. But my only red flag with him was the fact that, yeah, like once Crowder went down, and I mean, maybe this was for a depth perspective, but like you literally go out and like you get Cole Beasley toward the end of the season and he started like that next game, right? Like he was getting more snaps than Shakir almost immediately. So was the Bills coaching staff not trusting Shakir because he was a rookie, or was the Bills coaching staff seeing something that we are not seeing? Like during practice where they feel like, hey, he's not the guy, right? We shall see. So Hamo was doing great right till injury. More 3 safety looks. Make it happen. Wrap, hide, Poyer, make it work. Okay, yo-ho. Anthony John, Allen Diggs, Davis, Knox, Kincaid, Cook, Hines, Harris. He's ready for it. Patrick Fintox coming in saying, I'm reporting from Rochester. I wonder if they are going to practice in this wildfire smoke. It's really not bad, but we know how pro athletes are. That's been pretty I feel like that's been a main theme of Western New York this year is and so those wildfire or like that wildfire smoke that's been like completely plaguing that area. Very curious to see what happens with that, right? Like one would assume that they would say that it's like really bad, like around like the 26th. I wouldn't be surprised if they moved it over into the actual Bills facility. and then just ended up giving tickets out away to everybody else. But absolutely wild. Oh, we got 2 quick coming in saying, what's up, guys? Make sure to like the stream. Good morning. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate that. And that is absolutely factual, ladies and gents. Best way to support this channel, first off, is just tuning in. Loving you guys tune in and sort of chill with me as we talk a little bit of football in the morning. And same thing when it comes to happy hour. But say you want to go above and beyond, best way to do it is simply just hit that thumbs up button. It's free. It takes less than a second, and it really helps me out with the YouTube algorithm. It helps my content get introduced to a bunch of football-starved eyeballs. So make that happen for me. Would sincerely appreciate it. Like I said, I am going to open this show up into callers. Super excited. Love this portion of my show. But right before we do that, I do need to give a giant shout out to today's sponsor, and that just so happens to be Sleeper. This is your daily fantasy sports app that allows you to craft a perfect player parlay where you could potentially win a lot of money. I mean, honestly, I was looking through with it, and some people are hitting 6-player parlays, and they're 100xing whatever you put down for that particular parlay. Now, the best thing about this app is that it was known for a fantasy football app in general for teams, but now it has its own like parlay system called Picks. So say, for example, you want to get in on the action, highly recommend downloading the Sleeper app on your phone. And then when you make your first deposit, type in code Don Mafia, and then they are going to match exactly what you put in all the way up to $100. So essentially, say that you deposit 100, then Sleeper is going to match that $100, and voila, you have $200 to play with as the NFL season approaches. Not sure about you guys. I typically don't bet on the preseason. That's a lie. Sometimes I do, but like I just get shafted during the preseason. So this year I promised myself I'm just going to do regular season. But definitely check out the Sleeper app. It directly supports my channel as well. So say, for example, you're looking or you're feeling froggy to make some money or anything along those lines, go on ahead and knock that out now. There's great baseball betting going on with it. So nobody is going to be upset. I can almost guarantee with that. Head Start says a Dalvin Cook watch stream yet. Nope. No. I refuse to do a Dalvin Cook watch stream as well. I see that now people are talking about him like signing with the Patriots, which really doesn't make a lot of sense to me because I think Ramondre Stevenson is incredible, but we all know that Belichick loves the running back by committee. I feel like they should be looking for a receiver a bit more, but here we are. Dan, I bet you regret 9 out of the 10 streams on D-Hop. They got really annoying after a while, man. They got really annoying after all those DeAndre Hopkins streams, but I'm just glad it's over. I wouldn't say that I regret them, but it just got tired. It got tired, right? Who is the Titans quarterback for real? Ryan Tannehill makes too much money to be on the bench. I think it's going to be Tannehill this year, man, not unless the guy absolutely goes out there and lays an egg 4 to 5 weeks in a row. Maybe Will Levis goes in like week 5, week 6, only if Tannehill's like absolute trash. I don't think it's going to be Malik Willis. I would be completely surprised if that was the case, but we will see. And so our defense is going to put the fear of God in all offenses. So psyched. Rousseau, Oliver, Miller, Floyd, Milano, Hyde, Poyer, White. Just stay healthy, right? Just stay healthy. We have to make this happen today. What's good? It's good, man. Love. Cook will have a breakout season. Man, I hope so. And so I really hope so, man. I do. I am also looking at Damian Harris to have a really good season this year as well. Maybe he stays healthy the entire time. Smoke just keeps coming and going. Yeah, I've heard that, man. Just depending on the whole, to the wind direction and everything along those lines. As long as our defense stays healthy, no offense can deal with us. No way, dude. Matthew C. Smoke is supposed to go away today and be better for the next few days. Hopefully it stays away. Austin says a free $100. My boy's actually in Myrtle Beach. Me and him are hanging out this weekend for a little while. He's about to go on a father-son golf tournament on Thursday. Wish him the best of luck. And so I came down from New York right to North Carolina, and smoke is worse here today. Really, in North Carolina? It's been going down that bad? I didn't get any air quality issues on my phone, but We shall see. All right, guys, listen, this is how it goes. Like I said, this is the call-in show. All of us love this portion. In fact, I know that I do. What I'm going to do is I am about to put the stream link right in the live chat. That you want to join, please go on ahead and do so. We can discuss exactly what you want to discuss. There's been a couple of times where I've had some people waiting, but unfortunately I couldn't get to them. I'm going to try my best to get to as many of you as possible. So go on ahead. Start piling on in. Oh, my guy. What's up, Mark?
Hey, good morning, Dan, and great to talk to you. Opening day of rookies at training camp. Life is all good.
It's got to be great.
So let me just give you a couple quick headers off the top. Not glad. I am completely glad that there's going to be no more D-Hop conversations. D-Hop did the very best thing he could do as a Bills fan. He went to the AFC South, where the best he can do for them is go ahead and beat the Jaguars and beat the Ravens and help beat the Dolphins and lead that team to a AFC South championship, the number 4 seed, and a first-round playoff loss. Congratulations. Go get your bag. I'm happy for you. Next topic. All right, next topic. Our 6 draft choices first. Let's go ahead and talk about them. Kincaid, I think he's getting 80. I think he's getting 80 targets as a minimum. I think he's a flex tight end. I think he's going to play a lot in the slot. He's going to create mismatches all over the field. I expect 65 catches, 800 yards, and about 6 touchdowns from him. I see a lot of discussion on the Bills pages, especially last night, from some people that were saying, "Well, Kincaid doesn't have to prove things. First-year tight ends," and I kept trying to explain, he's not a tight end. Is Travis Kelce a tight end? In point of fact, no, he's not. He's a receiving weapon. He's a flex guy. That's exactly what Kincaid is. Obviously not to that level yet, but we'll get there. We'll see where that goes. Torrance, believe me, I love the 330-pound offensive tackle. You could grind it in. You put it in there. You put him in there with Spencer Brown. You've got a very young, very athletic right-hand side of the offensive line. Can be very, very run dominant, whereas you have Dawkins and McGovern on the other side, who are more predominant pass catching or pass blocking offensive linemen. And with Morris at center, Bates as the 6th lineman, you're looking in great shape. There's going to be some fantastic offensive line battles, but I'll get into that in a second. Third, Dorian Williams. Dorian Williams has the skill set, and a lot of people don't really accept the fact that the guy is actually almost 6'2", and his arm length is very comparable to Tremaine Edmonds. That's why the Bills went in that direction, because they can see him with his 4.49 speed, his ability to move forward and making plays, and especially his ability to be able to handle tight ends and running backs coming out of the backfield, where Edmonds had a lot of struggles with. Very excited about that guy. Maybe he doesn't start initially. By week 8, I think he's your starter. Yeah. Your next pick, Justin Shorter. Very excited about him. 4-phase special teams guy, high profile coming out of college, developing wide receiver. We don't know what's going to happen with Gabe Davis and Shakir at the end of the year. We have to see how the year plays out. This guy could be a long-term potential starter for the Bills. He could also be a multi-year 4-phase special teams player. The next round, Boker. That kid, everybody's going to sleep on. He's going to end up on our practice squad. I understand it, but he provides you left guard, right guard, and a small amount of center depth. I think he's a practice squad guy. I think he's a solid player. He was all SEC, and that does mean something. So, again, I have a lot of hopes for that guy. And our last pick in the draft was Alex Austin. I think he could be a real sleeper. He's got size. He's got length. He's got productivity. And when you take a look at where we are looking, where we're sitting at the safety and corner positions, I see us having 10 players on the roster that might not be, or 10 players that roster on this team. I don't want to bring up the roster today because that's not part of the topic, but that's my picks. Now, when we get into free agency, absolutely watch Richard George at tackle. I think that guy is another guy who's going to make the team. He's going to be on the practice squad. Great potential, played at Florida. I think that there's a lot of skill set with that guy. I think he needs development, and watch for him. I also agree. Shane Ray is a sleeper to watch. Tavian Howard at linebacker is a sleeper to watch. I watched some of his clips with the Rams. He looks really, really good. He looks really, really quick, and he makes a profile of what I'm looking for. I think he makes a 53. I think he's a practice squad guy. As a matter of fact, I was going over the team roster last night, and I kind of laid out 14 guys that I already had on the practice squad. I assume some of them are going to be coached because they're going to be poached because some of the players are too good to not be on somebody's 53 player roster. Now, the other thing that I think of is when we get into the season, where are we going to go with depth? Here's the things I see happening. When we do our initial 53, and I'll go into that very briefly, we're going to keep Jordan Phillips, we're going to keep Miller, we're going to keep Tommy Doyle, and then we're going to go ahead and work out side deals with some of these other guys. I think Klein's going to practice squad. I think Jordan Phillips is going to in-season pup, so he comes back. I think Miller's actually going to be on the roster, although he may not play the first 2 or 3 games. I don't think they're going to pup him for 4 games because the 4th game is Miami, and that's a critical game for us. And I think they're going to have. I think, unfortunately, Tommy Doyle is going to end up getting. Is going to get an in-season pup, and that's fine. That's certainly acceptable because you got Butker at offensive line. You've got Bates, who can play tackle in an absolute pinch. You have Brandon Shell over on the other side to back up Brownie, although you can't have him back up Dawkins because he's a horrible left tackle.
Yep.
As far as your discussion earlier about Dodson, I like Dodson. He's a downhill thumper. I don't like his pass coverage. Every time he's in pass coverage, I'm like sweating bullets, to be very honest with you. And the same thing I've seen out of Braylon Spector. And I have concerns with Bernard with his ability to set the edge and stop the run, although he's an excellent blitzer.
Yeah.
So, but again, he's a special teams guy. So, yeah, are people upset because, well, they drafted a 3rd rounder who's special teams? Every GM does not make every pick and that does not nail every pick. I could have gone a number of different directions, but that's after the fact. There's no point crying over spilt linebackers.
Exactly.
Anyway, what are your thoughts on my comments?
Listen, man. Well, I actually have a follow-up question for you because really, once we ended up getting O'Cyrus Torrence, obviously I was very excited about it. But then I started listening to other media heads. I started really sitting back and thinking about it. And several people are under the impression that we shouldn't be going into this season thinking that O'Cyrus Torrence is about to go out there and be playing a 3 to 4 year guard veteran this first year. In fact, I've heard some people say that it's going to be Bates' job, and then O'Cyrus is going to slowly but surely be worked into the offensive line. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't think it's going to be Bates' job at all because Bates' job is going to be as the 6th offensive lineman because of versatility. He can play center. He can swing out the tackle. He can play both guards. And if you're concerned about O'Cyrus Torrence being inexperienced, then you plug in David Edwards. That's the whole reason David Edwards is on this roster. He was a league average or slightly above league average starter with the Rams. And if you want to go experience, you go that direction.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, hey, listen, man, honestly, when I look at what O'Cyrus Torrence has been able to accomplish in college, I really hope that he's going to be able and sort of translate immediately. With Shorter too, I feel like a lot of people aren't talking about the fact that, yes, I do love his special teams sort of contributions that he can bring to the table as well. Big guy, he's a vertical threat. And realistically, when it comes down to it, with Anthony Richardson over in Florida, that's no Josh Allen either. So I think that the reason that he slipped so deep into the draft was just because of the quarterback play that he had, was just an entire different style of quarterback play that he was going in with it. So I still feel like that as far as competitions, and I feel like a lot of people have been slowly starting to debate, what are our 6 wide receivers going to look like this year? I'm willing to bet that Shorter is a lock for that wide receiver 6 on this roster. So I definitely agree with that from your end.
Take a look at you're going to want to take a look at training camp as a guy who's going to be a special teamer, Tyrell Shavers. Tyrell Shavers is a 6'6" kid who played at Alabama, transferred to Mississippi State, and then transferred to San Diego State. He had 3 kick blocks last year. Now, is he going to be a wide receiver candidate to make this roster? And are we going to carry 7 wide receivers? I don't see it.
Yeah.
But what I do see is this kid, and I see a Marcel Aitman possibly being on the practice squad. Like I said, I worked out the numbers last night, and I got 13 guys already on the practice squad. So and there's another tackle candidate that nobody talks about, and that's Ryan Van Denmark. That guy merits a look.
Okay.
In the offseason. So I'm going to be really like you. The first thing what I want to see in preseason, first of all, is get the regulars on the sideline. Just don't tempt fate.
Exactly.
And get your guys out there that you're, first of all, you got to go ahead and resolve the 37 people who are no longer going to be on the roster. So that has to be worked out. Unfortunately, the way things kind of play out this year, the first preseason game, the kids' game, is at home. So we'll see Josh Allen trotted out for maybe 1 or 2 series of downs, see the starters trotted out for the same series, maybe a little bit longer on defense. And then it's going to be, rookie and potential free agent cuts from that point forward. And at that point in time, you'll see Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis. Kincaid's the only one I see that's going to get some additional playing time, because he has to be integrated into the offense, or they may just factor that into practice sessions that we don't see, that the media can't really report on to develop him. And when you take a look at Kincaid, and that's why another thing I was, dealing with last night with folks, and I was kind of getting into a little bit of a discussion, not heated, because I'm a polite gentleman who doesn't use profanity, but some of the people were just driving me up a wall. Well, I don't see, Kincaid's going to take targets away from Knox. Knox had 60 targets last year. McKenzie had 65. They're totally different players. Yep. You're going to, and I see the Bills. Now, last year, the Bills were in 12 formation 6% of the plays. 6%. I see that percentage being up into the 60s this year, where they're going to be in a 12 formation. But it's not going to be the classic formation with 2 inline tight ends. It's going to be, Kincaid out into the slot. I can see also examples where you want to go to a better blocking formation. Maybe Diggs comes out and you have Davis and Sherfield, who are excellent receiving excellent receivers that block incredibly well. I can see plays, obviously, where you're jet sweeping using a guy like Hardy, short crosses. I see a lot of scenarios where you're using Naheem Hines as a running back. You could also do you can flank him out, you can flank Cook out. There is so much diversity in this offensive skill set with a much improved offensive line, that I can see them going a lot of different directions. I can see them taking time off the clock and long drives. I can see this team having a 4 to less than a 7-point lead in the last 4 minutes and getting the ball back and running a 4-minute offense with the power running backs and stalling a game away. These are just things that I'm looking at with the roster composition and the things that they've done, and you couple that with an outstanding defense, and we'll take a brief run over there. I really see a situation initially where, your middle linebacker situation might be somebody with a little bit more experience, like a Dotson, like a Klein, who they maybe bring back off the practice squad initially. But I really like Dorian Williams for the long-term position. And then let's not factor out the value of what Taylor Rapp is going to do for this particular defensive scheme. Now you've got another player in who doesn't have the great speed, but he has great hitting ability. Now what you can do is you can move Hyde and Poyer more into a safety position. You can bring Rapp in. You can leave out your tight end. You stay with Milano. And then, of course, in passing situations, you have your explosive speed rush group where you're having Floyd and Miller and Oliver and Rousseau as your speed line that's going in and generating massive pass rush. You've got Milano dropping back. Rapp is actually better as a tackler than Milano, because Milano does the one hit that I have. I love the guy to death, but he does miss a higher percentage of tackles than I would really like. I'd like to see that improved, but it is what it is. So how do you fix that? Taylor Rapp becomes your spy. Milano drops back into coverage. I mean, it's all there. Everything, every element is there.
Man, I swear, it's every time you come on, Mark. I feel like you get me more and more excited. And I love it. I absolutely love it. Mark, listen, man, I really appreciate you coming on, brother. I got a couple more callers I got to let in right before.
Let us hear what everybody else has to say. You have a fantastic day. I look forward to your show and the topic at 5.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, Mark.
Okay. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Bye. Man, honestly, I feel like I learned so much when he comes on, man. It's absolutely crazy. I did see somebody come in the chat earlier. I have a couple more people in here I do want to get to. Someone said that Z-Bot was going to the game. Absolutely. I don't know. I got to shoot him a DM on Twitter, see if he wants to meet up right to the AFC East Roundtable event. But more than happy to meet up with Z-Bot. That's my boy. Anthony, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's up, Dan?
Hey, man. Living the dream.
It's been a long time. I started, I guess, about maybe 3 years. I'm thinking 3 years. I'm getting old, so I don't even know. But 3 years following you at least. And much respect, brother.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
I must have changed cards often because I'm always having problems banging. And that's probably why I'm not on special anymore. But I'm going to resubscribe just to let you know.
No, hey, man.
Just to let you know from the heart, man. Much respect for your coverage.
No,
I got to get a couple things out off my chest. It's driving me nuts. First, listen. So many haters, so many hypocrites. I can't take it no more. I'm angry at these guys, these freaking media. I don't want to hear it. I'm tired of all of them. Nick, even Kyle. Sorry, I'm mad at Kyle. Kyle is a freaking fair-weather Bills fan.
He is.
Okay? Just because last year he said, we're definitely going to make it, and we didn't make it. You're not taking into consideration. There's no excuses. This is the truth. We had a shooting. We had snowstorms. We had a player die on the field. We had injuries. You name it. Everything happened to us. And then to top it all off, we got a blizzard in the last game when DeMar Hamlin was in the locker room before. Must have brought everybody like this. We couldn't take no more.
I know.
So we flopped. It's no big deal. That is an excuse. It's legitimate. Any other team would have freaking quit. They wouldn't even come back this year from that. Okay? And Josh Allen, he's trying. The kid is good. We got an angel on our team, man.
We do.
And I know he's going to bring us the trophy. And I'm going for it this year. Every year people say, I'm going for it because of all the heartache. You think of everything that they're carrying with them. They got Jim Kelly. Oh, man, who knows if he's going to make it. We got Jim Kelly. We got freaking Marv Levy. We got freaking, what was his name? Pancho Villa. All of this stuff just snowballing. And then last year, I remind them, I message, I do everything to remind them and put in their head 4 Super Bowl losses. We're never going to get respect until we win one. I want this embedded in their head so they know we've got to do it, and we can. Our defense is far above everybody else. Our offense is far above everybody else. I don't want to hear nothing about Patrick Mahomes and his cocky ass with freaking Kelsey and the rest of these freaking teams and Joe Cool Boy Burrow. Listen, they can't touch Josh Allen. I don't care what they tell me. You can't. The bullet, the running, the mushing people into the ground. You've got to be kidding me. Nobody can touch our team. And I just needed to get that out and tell you, look at the playoffs. The luck that we had with Houston, the first one, we were up by 16, we lost. The next couple of games that we did the playoffs, we were into playoffs 5 out of 6 years with Sean McDermott. They want to fire him. What kind of idiots are we dealing with here? And the last thing to finish up, I'm sorry, I'm just very excited, is the defense. I'm not mad at them, but it was a breakdown of the defense. It wasn't Josh.
Nope.
Josh kept up with everything. If you got a 16-point lead over the Houston Texans, you should be able to win that game.
I agree.
If you got a lead or you keep getting a lead over teams like the Kansas City Chiefs, keep that lead.
Exactly.
How many times he got to run down the field and bust his ass to get a goddamn score, and you're still going to allow a 13-second? Come on.
Exactly.
What do you think?
Exactly, man. Exactly. Like, I mean, like when it comes down to it, I feel like the Buffalo Bills rely on Josh Allen to win them so many games. And he answers all the damn time. But sometimes, like, we need another unit to step up. And our defense let us down during that playoff game last year. It was not Josh Allen at all. He was doing everything he possibly could. And it's frustrating. But I mean, honestly, man, I feel better about this roster this year with what Brandon Beane was able to put back and load with the resources that he has.
Yeah.
We just have to stay healthy. That's our only thing. I'm not worried not worried about the Miami Dolphins. I know that we're winning the division this year. But the thing is that like we need to make sure that we're completely full guns blazing going into the playoffs, man. Like we need to be the best possible team that we can during these playoffs this year. That's all I'm saying.
Most definitely, I agree. And again, much respect. I'd love to give everybody else another chance. I was happy to get that out, and I'll be back again to talk with you again soon.
Hey, man, you are welcome to come on anytime, man. It was a blast. And so it looks like the chat absolutely loves you. so we'll see you here soon, man.
Great. Thanks.
I appreciate that. That's Bills Mafia at its finest right there, baby. I love that. I feel like a lot of people need to put a lot of those things into context, right? Like there's a difference between excuses and there's a difference between context, right? But hey, you know what? Last year was last year, and now what we have to do is just prove everybody wrong. Because remember, right? Remember last year, everybody in their damn mother was counting the Chiefs out last year, right? Like everyone was just like, oh man, yeah. Like this person or whatever. Since Russell Wilson's on the Broncos now, since the Chargers just ended up getting Khalil Mack, since the Raiders just got Devontae Adams, Chiefs are over. What do? They came back and they won the damn Super Bowl. It is what it is. Drew D's coming in saying training camp starts today. The rookies have appeared. They've shown up. And so have the recent free agents. Real training camp starts on the 26th, but this is official. This is the official start at the end of the day. We'll see. DF forever. What's going on?
What's going on, brother?
Hey, man. Living the dream. How you feeling?
So I'm good. I got a comment. I got a statement. And I got a question. Comment about Cyrus. There's been a lot of talk about whether they're going to start him right away or not. And I heard what a couple callers ago said about thinking they're going to start him right away. What did McDermott do with Dawkins his first year? He sat him down. Second or third game, someone got hurt at right tackle. He threw him in. He came back that game. The left guard was out because of I think it was just a cramp. So he moved to left guard. Then he had a big thing that happened, so they put a backup guard there. Left tackle went out. He went to left tackle that game, never looked back. Mm-hmm. He had that from that game on. I think that's what you're going to see with Cyrus. Yeah. Is he's just simply going to absolutely set him, wait for an injury to happen, plug and play him, see how he does, and I think once they get him in, I mean, he's not a versatile guy. He's a natural guard. Yep. I think that's just how it's going to play out.
Would you say that, like, you think that he's going to be, like, slowly implemented? Like, you'll see some snaps, like, week 1, week 3, or is it going to be, like...
No, I think the first silly injury that happens at center or guard, they're going to move a guard over to center, and then he's going to play guard, and that's going to be it. He's just going to win the competition. That'll be it. It's going to happen that fast.
And so I will say it. Like, I mean, I feel like out of all position battles, I feel like offensive line is going to be the most debated this training camp. Because I look back, I mean, I feel like running back is completely solidified. I feel like receivers is solidified. I would be shocked if, especially like the top 6 receivers on our depth chart right now are not the 6 receivers on the final 53. Same thing with running back as well. I mean, I still see Murray, Harris, and James Cook. And then obviously with Gilliam, I'm not sure if they'll list him as a tight end or a running back this year. Who knows? But I feel like all the question marks are going to be strongly centralized around the offensive line. That maybe one or two like key battles between like that CB2 position, depending on if McDermott wants to switch up this defensive scheme a little bit more. I think that's really going to depend on if it's going to be Elam or if it's going to be Benford. But I mean, I'm definitely looking for offensive line to be the most exciting position battle going on this season.
Yeah, I just saw Dick J say in chat maybe Bates will take over for Mitch and then Morris, and then that's how a switch happens.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's funny you mentioned halfback. This is a conversation I don't think the Bills community is talking about enough.
Let's hear it.
Halfbacks are extremely evaluated in the NFL right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Teams are very scared of signing mid to high tier halfbacks after their 4th year or even after their 5th year option.
Yep.
I've heard a lot of people thinking, maybe Cook can turn into that franchise guy, or maybe he can turn into that 2-down guy where he's going to be with the Bills a long time.
Mm-hmm.
This is my statement part. I truly think they're going to use and abuse the hell out of Cook. They're going to pick up his 5th year option, and he's going to be gone. And they're going to just keep rotating halfbacks.
Yep.
I don't feel bad for halfbacks. Don't get me wrong. Anyone that's going to make $10 million a year, I don't feel bad for them all. But in general, I feel bad for the situation they're in, how much they've devaluated over the years, and wanted to hear your thought on that.
So the NFL is changing, right? I mean, look back, 30, 40 years ago, right? Or especially before the NFL was even conceptualized and put together, it was a run the damn ball sort of league. And now once you start getting quarterbacks that are just absolute gunslingers, right? Josh Allen, Pat Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Herbert, you name it. I feel like that it's 1,000% getting devalued when it comes in. Yesterday was the perfect example, right? Because there was Saquon Barkley, there was Tony Pollard, and then there was Josh Jacobs. Before that deadline were to come through, I was completely convinced that at least one of them would have gotten,
if not both, if not a couple,
if not all three. I said there's at least going to be one of those running backs that are going to get extended.
The halfback position is an absolute mess right now in this league. An absolute mess.
As soon as when you get over that 5th year option. But then again, and I mean, I'm trying to play devil's advocate because, of course, I mean, I do feel bad because their shelf life isn't anywhere near several other positions within the league when it comes into it. But if I'm an NFL GM, and so I'm saying, okay, and so do I want to pay this running back? Yeah, sure. He ended up, racking up 1,300 yards, but he's 27 years old. And historically speaking, I could grab a running back in the 2nd or 3rd round this year, and he's probably going to give me 800 to 900 his first year. The following year, he's going to break 1,300 on a rookie contract. What am I going to do? I feel bad. I know that Saquon, there's rumors that he's going to not sign the tag. Josh Jacobs is not going to sign the tag, apparently. All these other running backs are sounding off on Twitter saying how bad it is, but unfortunately, the league is just transitioning into a pass first sort of league. And the day of the bell cow running back,
7.2 yards passing on average in NFL, 5.2 yards rushing with the top tier running backs. NFL sees it and they've taken note, and it's just evolving away from running backs. Leading to my last thing that I wanted to talk about is there's been a horrible narrative going around that our cap situation is in a much worse position compared to Cincinnati and Kansas City. I don't know if you've seen this online or not, but I think Beanie is slowly turning into a magician. Because he has taken care of our future, our next couple of years now.
Yeah.
Other than Davis, Yeah, we're gonna be minus, I think, 40 million going into next year. But other than Davis, what other big name do we really have that's gonna be a free agent next year? And our cap's gonna be tight for the next couple of years. Yes, of course. It's because you got one of the best, if not the best, damn quarterbacks in the league. But I think this is a very bad narrative that Buffalo's going to run in trouble the next couple of years. No, we're not going to run into trouble because we're going to get new rookies, and as every year goes on, we're going to hopefully they hit some home runs with some future drafts and get better with those rookies.
Yep.
And things will just rotate and evolve. And I wanted to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, most definitely. So unfortunately, we do have quite a few unrestricted free agents next year. Huge hit's going to be on the defensive line. A lot on defense. Like some of those, like 1 years we brought in, like Damian Harris, Puna Ford. There's definitely going to be some very difficult sort of decisions that he's going to have to make. And then some of our older players, like Micah Hyde, for example, is going to be an unrestricted free agent next year as well. Do I think that and so our team is going to take like a giant fall off? No, I'm not, because I've trusted what Brandon Beane has been able to do in the draft. I've trusted what he's been able to do into bringing like the diamonds in the rough of free agents. I mean, just look back on what with the Jordan Phillips was for us just a couple of years when he brought him in, right? He was on Miami, he was never used, he was injured. They thought that he was a bust.
Yeah, go all the way back to what we did with Alexander. I mean,
exactly. Same thing with Lorenzo Alexander as well. So do I think that the days of the Buffalo Bills for like the next like year or two, like, will I say that I don't think that we're going to be bringing in like any like flashy star-studded names onto this roster within like the next 2 to 3 years? No, but I do trust that some of like the depth players that we currently have, some of the rookies from this year and the rookies from last year, hopefully they develop enough where we will be able to sort of take that next stride, right? As long as we have Josh Allen on this squad, man, as long as you have a good franchise quarterback, as long as you have a leader out there that's willing to grant that chemistry with your offense, because this league is an offense-first league. It really is. Not only is this now a pass-first league where the running backs are slowly starting to go extinct, at the same time, it is also like an offensive sort of league. Like teams are being built on like we want to outscore these people, and defense really isn't as popular as it used to be, especially back in those years. So short answer right to my very long soapbox right there is that and so I trust him and the depth players that he has on the squad right now that are still going to be under contract for a couple of years. I think we'll be just fine. And Cincinnati Bengals and the Chiefs have a very similar cap situation to us as well. I think Brandon Beane's been doing it for a long time, and I have nothing but severe confidence for the man.
On that note, I don't want to take any more of your time other than I'll remind on camera here what I keep reminding people in chat. Keep hitting that damn like button. Anyhow, I'm out.
Come on.
Peace.
Thank you, man. Thank you, man. I really appreciate that. DF forever. Great dude. Always comes in, reminds people to hit that like button. Anthony, there's no way that's factual. Well, and so I'm seeing 36 like buttons being smashed. So 36 like buttons being smashed are pretty good. What's up, Jacob?
Sorry, I just realized I was on.
No problem, buddy. How's life?
It's good. I really believe this is the Bills' year.
You and me both, man. You and me both. I feel like I've been saying that for quite some time, but I'm very confident about the roster this year. I love the depth moves. I'm not concerned about all of our competition. I think that we have a lot of continuity where other teams are having a lot of very big pieces that need to translate. You and I are on the same thing, man. I have high expectations. And I'm really hoping that this is the year, man.
I think we're going to sweep the Jets. I think we're going to sweep the Dolphins. And I think we're going to sweep the Patriots.
An AFC East division sweep, huh?
Yeah, like 2020.
I would love that, man. I would love that. And so, especially for bragging rights on the AFC's roundtable, that's one of my always things. Honestly, man, like every year, I just want to sweep the Dolphins just so I control TD Finns talk. That is my only thing that I ever hope for, is just to sweep the Dolphins. I'm fine to split with the Jets. I'm fine to split with the Pats. But give me a sweep against the Dolphins. That's what I want.
Right? You encouraged me to start my channel. You encouraged me that.
Oh, dude, you have to, man. You have to. Just keep grinding, man. I did join your and so your stream on Friday, but like your live chat wasn't working.
I don't
I do.
I don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
Can I make an announcement about my channel?
Sure, buddy.
I'm looking for a couple of contenders who wants to play trivia. They have to message me.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I can send them the link.
Yeah, man, most definitely. Certainly always happy to hop on. Like I said, I'm more than happy to hop on once the season starts and everything along those lines. I'm pretty busy for like the next like month or so with all this preseason stuff, but more than happy to do that. My thing is that I would just ask somebody at home to see if they can help you turn the live chat on. So that way, like people can sort of make sure that they participate like right there as well, because was definitely trying to on Friday, but I couldn't send a comment or anything. You know what I mean?
And I couldn't done it without you.
Oh no, man! Don't say that. And so it's been all you, bro. And so it's all you, man. You're the one that presses film. You're the one that goes live, man. It's all you. And so I appreciate that I was able to give you some sort of inspiration. You're the man, dude. You keep on grinding. You get to where you want to be.
Whoever wants to play trivia, message me. Message me on Facebook Messenger under Jacob Spears. My messenger is a Bills logo underneath Jacob Spears.
For sure, buddy. Hey, man, listen, go Bills, and we'll see you tomorrow, huh?
Yeah, I'll be watching your 5 o'clock stream today.
See you, boss.
Hey, go Bills.
Go Bills. That's the man right there. That's the man. Speaking of the man, what's going on, bro?
Hey, Dan, how's it going?
Oh, man, living the dream. Living the dream. How you feeling?
Pretty good. Another one of those, what do they call it, Taco Tuesdays?
Oh, yeah, it is Taco Tuesday, huh?
I love all your previous callers. The guy that mentioned about Coach McDermott and how some people think he should be on the hot seat, that's got to be like one of my biggest
The dumbest take I think I've heard all offseason.
When you look at the NFL, how many coaches have been to the playoffs 5 of the last 6 years? I believe it's 2, McDermott and Andy Reid.
And so if McDermott were to be on the hot seat, or if they were to release him, he literally would have a job. Like he would probably have a solidified offer within an hour. And so I'm not saying that he would accept it, but I'm saying that he would he probably wouldn't even have to interview for several organizations that were looking for it. I feel like a lot of people, man, like they just like focus and they hyper focus on one specific game. And nobody wants to talk about that. Out of all of our losses during the regular season last year, we lost by a combined of 8 points. This guy's brought us to the playoffs 5 out of 6 of his entire tenure over in Buffalo. And people just want to go ahead and just fucking clean house, sit there and just wait 3 or 4 years for a new head coach to implement his scheme. And miraculously, oh, yeah, we're going to win the Super Bowl the second that we bring in some like no-name, like offensive coordinator from some team that has no head coaching experience, and he's going to be the answer. It's more execution, right? I'm very happy. One thing I did agree with was that I did want to see a change in overall defensive play calling. So I'm glad that Leslie Frazier is taking a year off. I want to see what McDermott can do. But I totally agree. It was so.
But yet, guys like McCarthy in Dallas keeps his job, or Ron Rivera, who has a losing career record, they're not on the hot seat, but our guy is. Right.
I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. See, the good thing is that now that training camp is like starting and stuff like that, like I feel like some of like these takes are going to diminish a bit because now they have so much content to consume that their mind can't, start spiraling like right into this nonsense anymore. So I'm happy about that, which is good.
Two other thoughts. That guy that signed with Tennessee, what's his name? Hopkins,
DeAndre Hopkins, yeah.
What he did, I don't think it changes anything. I think Jacksonville still wins the AFC South, but it could take a win or two maybe away from Jacksonville, which kind of opens the door up for who could be number one seed in the AFC.
Mm-hmm. So my thing is that I think that Tennessee is still struggling pretty bad, like on the defensive side of the ball as well. And I think that there's such a question when it comes to quarterback, right? I'm still picking the Jags to like win that division by like a 3-game margin.
Definitely.
Seriously.
And I hope he doesn't see the field much, but what are your thoughts on Kyle Allen?
Kyle Allen. Oh man. So I don't think he's the worst backup quarterback in the league. I do want to see what he does in the preseason, but like I look back into our previous backup quarterbacks, and the only backup quarterback I think that I've ever had on this roster since Josh Allen, where I was convinced, I was like, you know what? If Josh Allen were to go down, knock on wood, I could trust this guy right into at least going like 2-1, say, for example, that Josh Allen were to go down, was Mitchell Trubisky. That was the only quarterback on this roster where I would have trusted that if Josh were to go down for a couple of games, that I would trust him to win us a couple. Absolutely. Kyle Allen, I have to see. I have to see what he's like in the preseason right before I can sleep at night. And then with Case Keenum, I mean, I was somewhat confident in the guy, but then I ended up seeing some of his preseason, and then I saw like some of those times when he came in when like Josh Allen was completely just like pissing on this other team, and like he was benched by the fourth quarter. I don't feel like he's the worst option we could have had, but that's still to be determined. And I think that we're going to be seeing a lot of Kyle Allen, especially right within the preseason. Basically the entire game for the first preseason game, and more than likely for 3 quarters plus that second game.
And I guess last thought, how many guys from this roster, I know the top 100 comes out pretty soon. I don't remember the date exactly. How many guys do you think from the Bills will make that top 100?
Will make the NFL top 100? Okay. So one thing I do like to put out there as well, this is a player voted list as well. So like I typically don't put it like at like that high of a pedestal. I think Josh Allen will be top 5 again, because I'm pretty sure they vote like midway through the season that previous year. Definitely Josh Allen will be on there. I think Matt Milano is going to be on there. I hope he is, for the love of God. I think it's well deserved. I think the Bills might actually get pretty shafted this year on it, man. Like, I would be surprised if we have more than 5 players in the top 100, in my opinion.
Okay. Yeah, I came up with
Josh Allen, Matt Milano, I think are probably going to make an appearance on the list. And then I could be missing out on 2 more. Diggs, obviously, will be on there. And then, yeah. And so I'd be surprised, man. And so if there's more than 5. Hell yeah.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, dude, absolutely. Go Bills, and look forward to you coming on again soon.
All right. What's our topic for 5?
Man, I still got to think about it. And so it'll be something spicy. It'll be good.
All right. We'll see you later.
Oh, man. Later. Damn. Ladies and gents, 10 minutes over. 10 minutes over. Love it, though. Love it. You know, it's about 12 o'clock. I hope everyone has some great lunch plans, guys. Rookies have arrived. I would love if there was actually like a press conference today. Wouldn't that be good? So wouldn't it be solid if there was like an actual press conference today or something like that? Like, since rookies arrived, it's not going to happen. And so I don't think that we're going to hear from the press until actual training camp starts. or if some news were to roll through, or like at the very least, like just like have that Bills social media team just like do like that, like and so the usual like rookies walking into the facility or something to react to. But yeah, guys, listen, I definitely appreciate that. I love having all the callers in. Definitely had great callers today. Love hearing your feedback on the whole sort of Bills training camp right around the corner, man. I absolutely love it. Reminder, okay, definitely go check out Sleeper. It is a fantastic fantasy football app, first off. But say, for example, that you like playing around with any sort of NFL player prop parlay bets, you have an opportunity of winning some serious cash. Best part about it is that you directly support my channel by downloading it, and then you could use my code Don Mafia for when you make your first initial deposit in case you ever wanted to put together a parlay. Great way to support the channel. So definitely check out Sleeper app. Use code Don Mafia at your first deposit. And once football season comes around, man, maybe I might even do a show where I'll go ahead and I'll show you my picks, what I'm planning on picking for like a preseason game, regular season. I'll do a bunch of player prop parlay bets. And that will be the way to go. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. I always appreciate y'all, and we'll see you next time. Deuces.